Thanks very much for that inspiring introduction and launch, effectively, because this is a soft launch of our network, internal for the university, but also for a few partners from outside the university. So we have a range of folk here today, but largely from the university. So what do we define as public health? Because that's one of the challenges in the world, is that public health is taken as meaning different things by different people. So one of the challenges that we started off with was to define what we meant, and this is the definition that the public health network is working with and has been agreed by the steering committee. So it is broad in terms of its methodologies, its disciplines, and also its aspiration to integrate across different methodologies and disciplines. But because we're Cambridge, it also will have depth in terms of quality and relevance. And this is really incredibly important in terms of the aspiration that we have to be useful and valuable for local, regional, national, international work. So this is very much the driving definition. So we've developed the aspirations of what we want to do in the network as follows. And I must pay tribute here to Paula Frampton, who actually almost all of you will have talked to, who has been instrumental in getting all of this going. And I'll talk about the activities in just a moment. So we've established that we want to build the network as a key initiative for Cambridge researchers, extending well beyond the current structures for public health research, that we want to engage and collaborate, as that being the fundamental sort of aspects of getting the kinds of research that the Vice-Chancellor outlined going for public health. So developing and supporting a range of activities which will help us develop the network, which support collaboration. And to do that, we're going to have a series of thematic strands. And then the output, so how will we measure our success? Well, we really want to see new collaborative research and things that happen that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So the networking that goes on in the meeting today and the talks that we hear today will allow us to network in ways and think about things in ways that we wouldn't necessarily otherwise do. And what we hope is that this will stimulate work which is relevant not only in terms of wonderful research, but also relevant for policymakers and practitioners. And so it will clearly benefit current and future populations, so in the short, medium and longer term. So the activities, the first activity, and I would like to thank Jana Voigt, who's here from the Research Strategy Office, who was really instrumental in writing the proposal that was successful. And the very first thing that we did was to get the steering committee going, and the steering committee comprises folk from across the university. So we wanted the leaders within the university, and they've been tremendously enthusiastic, so it's been a very positive experience. And then once we got the steering committee in place, many of whom are here today and many of whom are speaking, we needed to create the Public Health Network Coordinator post, and that's what Paula has been doing for just since October, so just a relatively short time. So although we've been approved for a year, we've only been up and running for really a small number of months. And the first activity for our network coordinator was to try to map the activities of public health across the university. And as the Vice-Chancellor has mentioned, in fact I think you did it just when you arrived, was to look at the network, the websites, to see who was doing public health across the university and how much there was going on. But Paula has done that more formally and found a great number of people, and that's where the listing, the directory, has come from on which you all are now, you now will have your names. But the very first part of the mapping is clearly, it's almost a given, it's on a plate, it's the Cambridge Institute of Public Health. And this is just the map of the structure, in that we have MRC units, NHS units, which are now going into Public Health England. This is a little out of date now. We have the Public Health Genomics Foundation. I'm sorry, this is the one without the little twig that links you in. And we have the large Department of Public Health and Primary Care. And there's the leads and directors from all of those, or from most of those, are here today. And I'm very grateful to you for being here. The clouds are the cross-cutting activities, which cover a range of activities. But the most important thing to say about this picture is that it represents quite a range of work, from molecular and genetic epidemiology through to policy analysis, and many disciplines from anthropology through to biostatistics and the whole range through clinical aspects as well. But it only represents a part of what's happening in Cambridge. So this is one structure that exists, and it is the wider strength of Cambridge that this network, the network that we're launching today, is aiming to capture. And of course that includes all of the schools across the university, and all of those schools are represented here today, and it includes other MRC units as well, which will presumably in due course become part of the university. But we will be encouraging and looking at carefully our external partners to see what fits and what works and supports public health research. So the activity of mapping has been a very substantial activity, and it will help us with all the future plans in terms of thematic development. So that's the mapping, which has been a big exercise. And then the major activity after this launch day is to work with the themes. And these are the themes that have been have bubbled up from the steering committee, but also from the interest that many of you have expressed when Paula has come round and talked to you about the network. So we're hoping that we will have a theme on big data, on sustainability, equality, aging, animals to man. There will be clearly cross-linkage across these, but these will be the thematic developments around which we hope will encourage clusters to form and bid for grants that they might not have been otherwise able to access. And just simply as an example of the activity generating new applications, we just put in a Health Protection Research Unit application yesterday, Daniela De Angelis from Biostatistics Unit. So already there are activities which are supporting grants going in. So that's the activity that we're undertaking, and that was just a bit of dry stuff really to get us going and tell you what's happening. Paula will wrap up with practical actions at the end of the afternoon, but now we're going to go on to the content. We've invited people from across the university with very little representation from the Institute of Public Health, because we wanted to capture the wider activity across the university. And I'm very pleased to invite Peter Jones to come and chair the first session of our launch.